Mycelium is the root structure of mushrooms or fungus. And in nature, it sort of holds the forest floor together. At Ecovative, we use mycelium literally as a living polymer, because that's what it is. It grows, it self-assembles, and it binds things together. Our vision is really simple at Ecovative. We want to create better materials. But more than that, it's also about protecting our planet. We create materials that have a fraction of the energy of conventional synthetic materials, that are grown from agricultural waste products, not food. And at the end of their life, they're totally biocompatible. We're giving customers a nutrient, not a pollutant for their neighborhoods. Ecovative started in 2007 at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in a class called Inventor Studio, which is a VentureWell supported program, and it's taught by Bert Swersey.
What we're trying to do in Inventor Studio is to create a culture of innovation that celebrates innovation. I thought it was really important for students to learn to see opportunities everywhere.
Over the course of Inventor Studio, I brought Bert lots of different ideas. Every one I brought, he told me was worse than the last one.
I thought that they were doing nonsense.
Really, it was like December 10th at the end of the semester when I'd gotten this terrible email from the night before saying I should redo my final project.
They weren't inventing anything.
I came to class and said, well, I got one more concept.
And he showed me something about this size.
I grew this disc, and it's a grown insulating material.
He took some agricultural waste and he inoculated it with mushroom cells.
And Bert's eyes lit up. He got really excited.
I thought that it could really be a game changer.
He said, that's what you should work on. You need to take my class again.
Gavin McIntyre was in the class.
You need to team up with Gavin, and then you really need to work on that. The spring of that year, we applied for a VentureWell grant, and we actually were awarded, as we were graduating, a $15,000 grant, which was our first funding for the technology. And that gave Gavin and I just enough resources to incorporate a business.
Graduation time came up, they had job offers.
Gavin was working at a national lab, I had a job in Vermont designing demining vehicles, and Bert was adamant that if you did that, it would never happen.
He said, we don't have funds, we have to pay off our loans.
And finally, on my first day of work in Vermont, he called me like at 6 when I was supposed to be going to work, and we talked for an hour.
I said, okay, I'm going to invest in you guys.
He convinced me.
That was the only thing holding you up, was money. We fixed that.
Quit my job on the first day and started Ecovative, went home at 9 a.m. and said kind of like, all right, now this is my full-time job. Our process starts in the field. We source agricultural waste products from farmers. We harvest it, we bale it, and then we bring it to our facility. After we started, the first couple of years were tough from a research standpoint. We were engineers doing biology, so we had a lot of failures. Not being able to grow parts, growing them unreliably, not having a product that was good enough. What you're seeing there is the ag waste being transformed from dirty ag waste to wet, sterile material. We supported the business through the first years by winning business plan competitions, which is a very effective way to bootstrap as long as you don't lose sight of what you're really trying to do. So what's happening here? The material is traveling out the end of the auger. It's been inoculated. It's now the perfect environment to grow mycelium. We put it in these incubation bags, which essentially allow it to grow out. In 2008, we traveled to Amsterdam. We were finalists in the biggest green business plan competition in the world. $750,000. Winner takes all for the best technology that can impact climate change. And they actually awarded us the top prize. And that gave us the resources to build our first pilot plant. This is what a bag looks like after it's been grown out. This white tissue you're seeing is actually the mycelium, or living polymer. So this is a bag that's basically ready to grow. And then you can do anything. You could blow it into a wall cavity if you want to grow a tiny house like we've done. You can blow it into a specialized mold to make a packaging part. One of the big shifts we made was right after we won this €500,000 prize, which was for our building installation. We kind of realized that 3 guys in the basement of a business incubator just weren't going to be able to make repeatedly enough insulation for one house, let alone really service that market. So we made a big pivot market-wise to do packaging, which is a cost-competitive alternative to the styrofoam or polypropylene or polyethylene that you might get around to consumer goods. This is the last stage in our process. This bag will come off, and these are actually going to be put in a drying oven. Once they go in the oven, they're going to be baked. That'll remove the moisture from the parts, and they'll be ready for use. We unite a lot of stakeholders. Commercially, we work with really big companies, either on direct customer access or on future projects, and we also work with the government. So we've sort of connected to as many stakeholders in our space as we can. This is a finished part. The white tissue is formed. It's created the structure of the part. This is the composite. This is the self-supporting aspect. So you start with ag waste, you add structure, you add polymer, you add integrity, and you get what I think is a beautiful product. You put this head to head with polystyrene or polyethylene foam, you're going to protect your product. We can make this in and out every day. And on the raw material side, we've been able to drive the raw material costing down to be at price parity with the styrene and the polyethylene that's used in packaging. So we're just finally getting to realize that dream of a triple threat value proposition. We've grown from a $15,000 grant from VentureWell to millions of dollars in annual revenues. Our goal is to keep being the world's leader in mycelium structural materials, keep developing great products. There should be no plastic foam used. Now, we won't achieve that just Ecovative, but we're going to be a big piece of that puzzle.